Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas, as we are ready to qualify for tomorrow's Firestone Indy Texas race. 15 laps tomorrow around this 3.427 mile road course. The first time we have ever come here on the channel. Should be an interesting race tomorrow. And should be an interesting qualifying session today. And qualifying is going to be very critical to how well these guys do in this race, as this is a difficult place to pass in terms of the road courses we'll be going to this season. One of the harder places I feel like that we will have this year. And once again, because I just don't have the time and I just don't feel like it, we're going to be changing the qualifying out just a little bit, at least for this race. We're going to do one 10-minute session with all 26 drivers. Top 6 move on to the Fast 6, and then the Fast 6 determines the pole. It's simple. It doesn't need to be any more than that for these shorter road course races, and yeah, there's just no reason to go through all that. It's just all there is to it. I don't need qualifying to be 50 minutes and the race to be half an hour. It just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, that's how we're going to do it here for the road courses throughout the season. I do believe for the ovals we'll still do the groups, to try to avoid having a bunch of cars on the track at the same time at those places. But on the road courses, at least, we can have multiple cars on the racetrack and it not be too much of an issue. So it's going to be 2 10-minute sessions here today. We'll do all 26 drivers in the top 6 fastest will go on to the Fast 6, and then they'll go for the pole here for Firestone Indy Texas. Let's go ahead and get started here from the Circuit of the Americas and qualifying for tomorrow's race. And here we go for what is officially round number 1. Just 2 rounds today, of course. The first round with all 26 drivers, and then the Fast 6 with the top 6 fastest. So we will see how this all shakes out for these guys here today. But looking forward to seeing who ends up with this pole position here from the Circuit of the Americas, because it's a very good chance whoever wins the pole for this race will win the race tomorrow as well. Not a guarantee. I think it's going to be a bit more of a race of attrition than a couple of the past races that we have had this season, primarily at Riverside and then the Texas Motor Speedway last week. Logan Williams, the first driver out there on the racetrack, comes into this race 53 points behind, so theoretically no. There's no way he can actually take the points lead or tie. At the end of this weekend, you'd have to be 52 behind in order to tie, because the minimum amount of points you can get in a race weekend is 1 point, and that's for finishing last. So Fitzwater, who is the points leader coming into this weekend, could theoretically finish in the last position. Logan Williams win the pole, win the race, and lead the most laps, and Fitzwater would still in fact be 1 point ahead. So everyone above Logan Williams, though, does have a mathematical opportunity at taking the points lead at the end of this event. That's Fitzwater. Of course, as the points leader, he's 31 points ahead of Brandon Nelson, and Nelson has come close a couple of times this season. He's actually won the last 2 poles so far this season here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Landon Smith Jr., Trey Smith, brothers right there doing very well, and then Thomas Troxel 50 points behind. Of course, Landon Smith Jr. is 41 points behind, and Trey Smith is 42 points behind. So, essentially, it's going to take a race victory out of all those guys in order to dethrone Zachary Fitzwater, who has already won twice this season. And both on the ovals of California and Texas. So, we'll have to see if he can get something to work on the road course. Of course, he had a solid run at Riverside. We'll have to see what he can do here at Circuit of the Americas. This is a very, very unique racetrack, obviously designed for Formula 1, and these guys are going to race a little bit like Formula 1 cars, more so than Indy cars. This is the way the track is kind of set up for these guys to go through the corners at the high rate of speed that they do. It's not as realistic, but I think we're going to still have a pretty good race here this weekend. That's Zach Winkle there in the number 28. Got some odd camera angles on this track as well. Right behind Zach Winkle is the number 81 machine of Jay Knapp, who did not have a good run at Texas. Had a good start to the season at California and Riverside, but has since fallen off significantly as he is now 55 points behind. Of course, it's still very early on in the 20-race season, so a lot can happen between now and the finale at Pocono once we get to August, but at this point in time, these guys definitely want to get the points while they can, because you never know what's going to happen as the season rolls along. Of course, none of the races this season are double points events, so because of that, you know, Indy 250 awards the same amount of points as this race does, so you gotta be good in all the races if you're gonna be consistent. You can't get away with just being good in the Indy 250 and pulling away with the championship anymore. That's what a couple guys did. Nicholas Sanbadio did that when he won his championship. Luke Rainey the same way. And we decided to kind of get rid of that because it just seemed like it gave that driver a bit too much of an advantage. The Indy 250 doesn't need double points. It's a very, very special win in its own right. So no one's really focused on the championship when it comes to that event. So number 11 was the first driver to clock in a time. Now these are guys who have their pit stall before the start-finish line officially. The 8 team clock in at a 1:47.234. So that's the first official time under speed right there for Logan Williams. Zach Winkle was right behind him there at a 47.389. Pretty close to each other right there. Ethan Lewis went to a 4.682. That's a solid time right there for Ethan Lewis. Now we'll have to see. These guys will definitely get another lap time in, or another lap in, I should say, before this session is complete. So we'll have to see if the times do, in fact, get faster. Here's Nathan Feyden in the 00 machine, who's also done very well in qualifying as the second best average starting position this season, just behind Brandon Nelson there. Average starting position of 6.67 so far in the first 3 races of the year. Cole Raymond has gone to the top of the board there with a 46.483. So we're starting to see some guys. There's about a second gap from the fastest to the slowest guys here. This is a very technical racetrack, and there's going to be a big difference in speed between the fastest guy and the slowest guy here around this, I believe, 21-turn road course. I'm not even going to begin to remember which turn is which here. I just don't know that. The only road course I really know which turn is which is Watkins Glen. That's really the only one, and that's because I've done like 20 races there, so I don't have the mental capacity anymore to remember anything like this. I have too much else going on in my life. Brock Nelson, number 17. That's Brandon Nelson's brother. Of course, Brandon Nelson's won the past 2 poles, and now Brock Nelson looking fairly quick here. Outside pole, definitely a good place to start here at Circuit of the Americas, but of course, all that matters is the top 6 right now, and those 6 guys are Cole Raymond, Brock Nelson, Nathan Feyden, Thomas Troxel, Ethan Lewis, and then the 41 of Trey Smith, who won at the Riverside International Raceway, the other road course we have had so far this season. Maybe I can locate that number 41 somewhere on the racetrack. I don't believe these guys are improving their times the second time around here, so that first lap was probably the one that these guys wanted to get here in this qualifying session if they were going to get a good starting position. Logan Williams was that first guy. He's still at a 47.234. And Cole Raymond has gone off the racetrack. And in the sand trap right there, I have no clue where that is. It does appear that this might be off the final corner. So that's a tough break for Cole Raymond, but then again, if there was any time for him to make that mistake, it was while he was the fastest guy, because he'll still be able to go into that fast 6 as long as the time stands. No change in the top 6 here, and it looks like that first lap is where you're going to get the time. Of course, the tire wear going to be significant. It's got a lot of tight corners around this 3.42 mile long road course, so once you get that first lap done, you've essentially already done 2 laps once you get to that point, and tire wear on that 3rd lap is essentially just too much to improve off of the 2nd lap. I mean, even coming off the pit lane, they were only 4 seconds off on their first lap if they come off the pit lane, cross the line on the pit lane, started their lap on the pit lane, so tire fall off is significant here. Now, we may end up with guys like Cole Raymond, because Raymond may be able to get back out here and have an opportunity at getting another lap under speed, because he came down the pit lane, so more than likely he's going to get some fresh tires on that number 95 machine. And with that, he may have an opportunity in improving his time, but doesn't look like he's going to need to. So, with that, 7th place starting position would be, as of right now, the 25 machine of... Hold on a second. I still don't have the driver's list memorized here. There it is. That's Angel Oliveira in the number 25. Apologize that I forgot that. Number 13, Brian Rodriguez, there in 8th. He'll start alongside Angel Oliveira, and this is if it stays the way it is, of course. Noah Clifton and Zachary Fitzwater in row number 5. 97, Richard Kingart and his teammate Elijah Gordon in row number 6. Brandon Nelson and Landon Smith Jr. in row number 7. The number 18 machine of Logan Williams in the 5 of Justin Zeidel in row number 8. Ace Garcia, Cole Raymond. No. Not Cole Raymond, excuse me. Chris Reynolds. No, it started with a C. Ace Garcia and Chris Reynolds in row number 9. Reggie Fogelman and Jesse Turner in row number 10. 37 machine of Eric Monaco and the 28 of Zach Winkle in row number 11. 02 of Scott Upton and the 31 of Nicholas Samadio in row number 12. And then the 55 of Caleb Rose and the 81 of Jay Knapp in row number 13. And of course, at the end of this video, you will see the entire starting lineup for Firestone Indy Texas here from Circuit of the Americas. It's a bit of a shame that IndyCar in real life does not come here anymore. You can thank COVID for that one. But this is definitely a great track. It's unique, and I'm intrigued. I'm actually looking forward to seeing the NASCAR races here this weekend. I didn't get a chance to see them last year, and they were rained out last year, and yada yada. But I have a good feeling with the next-gen car, this is actually going to be a pretty good race, especially considering they're not going to be restricting the engines like they did at Atlanta. I don't know how to feel about that Atlanta race, really. That was... For a super speedway, it was alright, but it's... I don't know. As long as they don't bring it to, like, Charlotte and all the other mile-and-a-halves, I'm okay. But if they start doing that, man, they just shot themselves in the foot. I was looking forward to all these mile-and-a-halves this season, you know, without that package, and I just hope they don't bring that to everything else, because that's just too much. So they're looking like this is going to stay the way it is, and all those times right there at the beginning. So the 95 of Cole Raymond, the 17 of Brock Nelson, the 00 of Nathan Feyden, 67 of Thomas Troxel, the 11 machine of Ethan Lewis, and then the 41 machine of Trey Smith. I think I just realized, I think I forgot to put up the owner's points at the end of the last race at Texas. Do apologize for that. The time I spend on this stuff is probably 20% of what it used to be. So because of that, I just kind of forget things now. It happens, but we'll get the updated owner's points hopefully at the end of this video. Hopefully I'll remember to do that for you guys. I probably won't, but I should hopefully get the updated owners at the end of the race tomorrow, so hopefully we'll be able to do that. There's Trey Smith looking to win both of these road course races, and, you know, he's in the top 6 here, so he's going to have a good shot at getting the pole. 30 more seconds on the clock here at Circuit of the Americas in round number 1. Angel Oliveira just missed out there on that fast 6. Only unless he has something right here, which we haven't seen any change there. Once those guys went out there, all their first laps were their fastest laps here. So, a little bit different than how it was at Riverside, where we saw faster laps later on in the session. Not the case for these guys here. And that'll do it for round 1. Fast 6. Cole Raymond, Brock Nelson, Nathan Feyden, Thomas Troxel, Ethan Lewis, and Trey Smith. One of those 6 guys will get the pole. And then from 7th to 26th, that is how they will line up for tomorrow's 15-lap race here from the Circuit of the Americas. So, Angel Oliveira will start 7th, Rodriguez alongside him, Clifton and Fitzwater, Kingart, Gordon, Nelson, Brandon Nelson, Landon Smith Jr., Williams, Zeidel, Garcia, Reynolds, Fogelman, Turner, Monaco, Winkle, Upton, Samadio, Rose, and Knapp. That is how they will line up for tomorrow's event. The top 6 will change more than likely. We'll see who gets the pole here in Firestone, Indy, Texas, from Circuit of the Americas. And here we are for the Fast 6 here from the Circuit of the Americas. Should be a good one here for this Fast 6 shootout. Cole Raymond, Brock Nelson, Nathan Feyden, Thomas Troxel, Ethan Lewis, and Trey Smith. Now, Trey Smith won at Riverside. He won that race on strategy, but like I said, starting on the front row for this race is going to mean quite a bit to who gets the race victory, and Trey Smith may be the one who gets both of the road courses so far this season. Fitzwater won the first 2 ovals. We'll have to see if Trey Smith wins the first 2 road courses, but Cole Raymond's going to be trying for something. The same with Ethan Lewis, Thomas Troxel. Got the 00 Nathan Feyden, who has been very solid in qualifying so far this year. And then you also got Brock Nelson. Haven't seen much of Brock Nelson this year in the Haas IndyCar Series, but a great opportunity for him to possibly get something to go his way here from COTA. Ethan Lewis is another guy we haven't seen much of this year either. Last year's Indy 250 champion, only 23 total points on the season so far, 104 behind already. Now, of course, Fitzwater's won twice already this year, so that doesn't help the case for the rest of the field, but still very early on in the season, and a win early on in the season will definitely help boost your confidence going into the rest of the year. His next race is going to be at Richmond, and I do believe that is next weekend as well. So we got 3 straight races in a row here in the Haas IndyCar Series. And once we're done with that Richmond race next week, we will already be a quarter of the way through the season. There's still a lot of great races left to go, and we should have a lot of fun determining this champion this year. And especially, we'll have a lot of fun in the month of May when we get to the Indianapolis 250. And we will bring back single car qualifying for that, of course. There's nothing about that race that's going to be different, really, from past years. It's definitely one of the biggest staples on this channel, and definitely looking forward to that. And speaking of which, we should get the Indy 250 only rides figured out here soon. It's coming up. It's going to be about 2 months from now when we get to the Indy 250, so that'll be coming here very shortly. Ethan Lewis, the first driver out there. Next guy in line, number 41 of Trey Smith. And you got Cole Raymond, Brock Nelson, Thomas Troxel, and Nathan Feyden. That's the order they're going in. And Ethan Lewis about to begin his first lap. And like we saw in that first session, that first full lap under speed definitely appeared to be the fastest one. So you see Ethan Lewis crossing the start-finish line right there. Trey Smith will be behind him. No one's going to affect anyone else here. So we're just going to have to see how it all goes down for this field. And Richmond is next weekend, and then Willow Springs is the weekend after that. So we had 4 straight weekends of racing here. Wow. We're getting a lot knocked out here. I don't know why I did that to myself. Anyways, Ethan Lewis here, early on in the lap as he goes through the S's and then up the hill. At the top part of the racetrack right here, it's one of the tightest corners on the circuit right here. This hairpin at the north, I don't know if it's at the north end of the circuit or not. I don't know which way is north and whatnot, but then you go to the long back straightaway. This is a very long back straightaway. These guys hit upwards of 200 miles per hour. It's a lot like it is at Riverside. The only difference between this and Riverside is all a bunch of sweeping corners. Here you got a lot of tight corners, and that long back straightaway leads into a tight corner. You see Ethan Lewis go through there. Trey Smith here in the number 41. Going to be the next guy behind him. Cole Raymond may be getting just a little bit of a toe down that backstretch. Now, then again, you don't want dirty air either, but you might just be far enough where that may have helped that 95 out. Here's Brock Nelson, and then you got Feyden and Troxel behind those guys. Now, the reason why it is not showing Brock Nelson with a lap yet is due to the fact that his pit stall, in this session at least, was before the start-finish line. Here we go. Lewis across the line, clocks in at a 1:47.319. And compared to the first session, that is a bit of a slow time. Here comes Trey Smith. That right there is not the start-finish line. The start-finish line for us, and it's the same start-finish line, is right there. Trey Smith, 5.26. Raymond, 1:11. So Cole Raymond now with the fastest lap. Brock Nelson's going to be the next guy to complete his lap right here in the number 11 machine. So unlike in Formula 1 where the start line and the finish line are actually different, the start and finish line is the same line right down the middle of the front stretch. So not that one right there. Brock Nelson, number 17. He's going to go to a 1.47.3638. Troxel next in line. And Troxel is going to clock in right here to second. 1.47.212 for Troxel. Feyden's the last one. Let's see what he clocks in right here in the 00 machine. Up the hill towards turn 1. Nathan Feyden's going to go to a 1.46865. That right there might win the pole for Nathan Feyden. Great time there for the 00. His teammate's going to be starting last, but Feyden's going to be at the opposite end of the field. We'll see if anyone improves their time here. Ethan Lewis completing his second full lap. And across the line, Lewis is not going to improve his time. I don't anticipate anyone improving their time here, so that'll do it right there. Nathan Feyden, I do believe, has won the pole here for this Firestone Indy Texas race. Going to be a good opportunity for him to get a race victory. He has not won. Oh, improvement right there. I believe for Trey Smith, but it did not. Actually, you know what? I think it did. I think he just jumped Ethan Lewis right there. So, hey, it might not be done yet. We'll have to see what Brock Nelson could do here. Cole Raymond did not improve his time. We'll see if Brock Nelson has anything here on his second lap. Coming across the line right here, Brock Nelson was the slowest guy. He just went to second. 1.46995. So I was wrong about that. Troxel, we'll see if he improved at all. He did not, but that's going to take Cole Raymond off the front row. But Nathan Feyden is still the fastest driver looking to win this pole for Firestone Indy Texas, and I think he's going to do it. I don't think off of this next lap anyone's going to improve their time. I could be wrong about that, though. He was at an 8.65 that last lap. That's a pretty good time right there for Feyden, and I don't think he's going to need any more than that. So Ethan Lewis here in the number 11 machine. Looks like he's going to be starting in the 6th position. Slowest driver here in this Fast 6, but still not a bad time for him. Starting 6th is still a great place to start, and, you know, we could see a bit of a race of attrition. I think we'll see some guys get knocked out. It's a treacherous track, and you could see a few accidents in tomorrow's race, and that could definitely shake the field up, and it's a difficult pit lane to come into as well. So that's something to watch out for. Got Trey Smith there. He's not going to improve his time, and neither will Cole Raymond, so the two drivers under 47 seconds right there are going to be Brock Nelson and Nathan Feyden. Now, there's still a lot of time left, so these guys are still going to clock in a couple more laps, but generally speaking, I do not anticipate these guys improving their times at all, so Brock Nelson with a great second lap. That's going to put him on the outside pole, and that could give him an opportunity at the race victory tomorrow. No improvement right there, and the tire were just a little too significant for these guys at this point for anything to happen in their favor. So that'll do it. Everyone's clocked in 3 laps already. Or not everyone, but the guy who hasn't clocked in 3 laps is already fastest, so it really doesn't matter too much. So Nathan Feyden there with the pole now. Like I said, it's going to be a bit of a race of attrition. In testing, we saw some guys spin out on their own. It wasn't very common, but it is possible. These guys kind of whip these cars around, so that is something we might see. Of course, with it being a road course tomorrow, there are no cautions, so if a wreck happens, it happens. And with that, we will probably be using the picture-in-picture quite a bit for tomorrow's event, so you'll be seeing all the incidents happen in the corner of your screen, assuming they do happen, of course, which I do anticipate that being the case. But tomorrow's going to be interesting, especially at the start of the race, between Feyden and Brock Nelson up that hill in the turn number 1. That'll definitely be, could be the winning move of the race right there at the top of the race with 15 laps. I haven't seen much passing in the event. Now there will be a set of pit stops as well. Like I said, that's another thing they got to watch out for, is coming down the pit lane, because it's a bit of a treacherous entry into that pit lane. Very narrow entry into the pit lane. So these guys got to be careful not to hit that inside wall or hit the tires, because if you do that, you're out of the race. And we could see a couple guys do that as well tomorrow. So Gonna be an odd race tomorrow. We've never been here before to Circuit of the Americas, so we're excited to finally actually get a race here at this track. It's a track that I've tried a couple of years. Never put it on a schedule officially, but I've always tried to test it and get it to work and see, hey, maybe we can do a race here, and I think we finally figured it out here. So looking forward to doing a race here around this gorgeous road course in Austin, Texas. We'll just have to see how it all goes down in Firestone Indy Texas tomorrow. And I do believe noon Eastern time. I think that's when I'm going to upload the race tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else going on right then. So I should be good to do that. And we should also hopefully have Micah back in the booth tomorrow as well. Not that Andrew is a bad announcer at all. Great to have Andrew last time out, last week at Texas. But also be great to have Micah back, our IndyCar expert here. I wish there was like a 7.5 minute, you know, practice time that I could do. There's probably a way I could maybe like change that in the I&I, maybe. I don't know. But 5 minutes would have been too short, and quite obviously 10 minutes is too long, so trying to find that balance is a little difficult, but hey, we're finally done. Nathan Feyden has officially won the pole. You see the starting lineup for the whole field there on the right-hand side of your screen. Nathan Feyden, Brock Nelson on the front row. Cole Raymond and Thomas Tross will be in row number 2. Trey Smith and Ethan Lewis will be in row number 3. And then you see the rest of the results right there with Angel Oliveira, Brian Rodriguez in row number 4, Noah Clifton, Zachary Fitzwater in row 5, Richard Tinger, Elijah Gordon in row 6, Brandon Nelson, Landon Smith Jr. in row 7, Logan Williams, Justin Zidell in row number 8, Ace Garcia, Chris Reynolds in row number 9, Reggie Fogelman, Jesse Turner in row number 10, Eric Monaco and Zach Winkle in row number 11, Scott Upton, Nicholas Amadio in row 12, Caleb Rose, Jay Knapp in the final row, row 13 here for Firestone Indy Texas tomorrow at noon Eastern time right here on AG, the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the 15-lap race here from Circuit of the Americas. Congratulations to Nathan Feyden for winning the pole, and I will see you guys later.